180 different Palestinian civil society organizations in 2005.
Calling for campaigns of divestment, boycott, and sanctions against Israel, against corporations that support Israel and its human rights abuses of Palestinians, until Israel complies with international law in 3 areas. Number 1, ends the occupation of the West Bank,
Jerusalem, and Gaza Strip. Number 2, allows for the full right of return of Palestinian refugees. Number 3, the attainment of full equality for Palestinian citizens to Israel. This call was launched on the 1-year anniversary of a historic decision by the International Court of Justice, which called upon Israel to tear down its apartheid wall, deemed it to be illegal, said Israel had to pay compensation to Palestinians who were harmed by it. Of course, 6 years later, that wall not only still remains, but continues to be built. So in the absence of governments failing to enforce international law, failing to enforce human rights standards, failing to enforce UN security resolutions, global civil society needs to step up to the plate, to take actions to boycott, divest, and sanction Israel on its own, and not wait for government. And what we're seeing right now is a huge mushrooming of this movement worldwide, and also in the United States. And some recent victories in the United States included a brilliant campaign. I think this is public. Tell me if it's not public yet, and I'll shut my mouth. In Olympia, okay. The Olympia Food Co-op voted to de-shelve all Israeli products. A fantastic coalition of organizations in the Bay Area did a fantastic job at the ports of Oakland and put pressure on the union that worked the dock not to offload Israeli cargo in the port of Oakland. The first time an Israeli ship was ever denied offloading in the United States, and that's been an action that's been repeated throughout the world. So these types of civil society victories are inspiring because it shows what we can do without waiting for governments to do the right thing. And a major, major component of the work that the US campaign does is to focus on campaigns of boycott, divestment, and sanctions. We have targeted corporate accountability campaigns against specific corporations that are profiting from Israeli military occupation. You can get involved in those campaigns by going to our website at endtheoccupation.org. We also engage in cultural and academic boycotts and other forms of boycott, divestment, and sanctions work in faith communities. We just launched a new project which we're calling Occupation-Free Faith Communities. So maybe the Islamic Society of Greater Kansas City could become our first occupation-free congregation by taking certain steps to make sure that they're not invested in any corporations that are profiting from Israel's actions against Palestinians. You can go to our website for more details about how your faith community can do that. So the growth of the BDS movement is not only encouraging and inspiring, it's also very, very worrying for Israel and its supporters. They are completely afraid that Israel is going to wind up in a situation analogous to the apartheid regime of South Africa, facing complete international isolation as a result of its policies. And that is indeed a movement that we're seeing growing now across the world. So I think they see the writing on the wall. I think they see their increasing isolation and the increasing distaste that civil society around the globe has for its policies as something that's very, very worrying. And I think that's why it's acting increasingly erratic.
I think we should probably come to a close, but I would like to add one little thing of my own. As CJME, we always encourage people to go to Palestine. We don't know of any that have gone and come back and not shared from their heart what is the occupation like and what is it doing to people. Last night David asked how many of us had been to the Mideast and all. If you can, encourage, financially support, send your minister, send someone from the mosque, go and see with your own eyes, and you will come back and speak from your heart. With that, thank you so much. You've done a wonderful group.